Unlocking marital bliss.
Pleasure once again. Cyrus Rod is my name, and I am so excited that you are tuned in to Unlocking Marital Bliss, the #1 marital show in this country, if not in the whole world. Yes, we're here to prepare you so you may succeed in marriage. We're not just talking about a wedding, but we're talking about the marriage, because what makes a difference is the marriage. And I'm telling you, it is so beautiful to be in a marriage. It's so wonderful to be in a marriage. And this particular morning, I am so excited this very day that I can share with you. And being in the lockdown, actually it's an afternoon, being in the lockdown, we get to understand that there's so many of you out there that are struggling, that are pulling each other. You can't bear one another. You don't know what it means to stick with your woman. You don't know what it means to be in the same house with her, especially the guys. And the women, you don't know what it means to literally be with this man 24/7 in a lockdown. But this is going to work out for our good. So any kind of bliss is to be built right now within this period. We are not in for violence, though there is so much violence going on that we need to talk about it today. We need to talk about it today. And I don't know what's happening with many of you. Many are running away. Many are thinking this and the other. But today we're going to talk about the violence. Are you having violence or you're having happiness? Are you having violence or you're having happiness? We want to break this down. I am here. I have a guest, wonderful woman of God, wonderful teacher, well experienced in this, and she told me she's having bliss, that is happiness, in her marriage. She will let us know. So it's going to be happiness and not violence. So it's going to be your choice. And without further ado, I'll just take a break before I invite her on set. See you in a little bit. Once again, we're back, and this is Unlocking Marital Bliss with me, Cyrus Rod. And hey, we're talking about domestic violence during this pandemic, during this lockdown. We don't need violence. What we need is happiness. And I have my guest in studio ready to bring this truth out. It's a pleasure to have you on set.
Yes, praise the Lord. It's a
He is
pleasure
worthy.
to be here. We need to give the glory to God.
Thank you
because
so much.
Without God,
We're nothing.
we are nothing, and we are gone and we are done. But with God, everything is possible, even marriage.
Hallelujah. Even marriage is possible.
Yeah, with God.
That is so beautiful.
Yes.
I love it that with God, you see, we've tried in our generation, we try to put God aside, and we don't want him in our marriages.
And the more we put him aside, the more the devil comes in. And when the devil comes in, that's when you see all this violence, these bruises, these you know, who is you, who is me, because the devil is in the place where God has to be.
Yes. So he's, with the moment he takes the place of God, that's the violence we see in marriage.
Yeah. But when he's in his place, you'll see somebody, as somebody got married to.
Yes.
The real Silas, not an angel.
Not an angel, but the real human being.
Yes.
I love that. By the way, in studio, I'm having Mrs. Casato.
Yes.
Most of the people out there know you.
Really?
The moment I mention Mrs. Casato. Mrs. Casato, could you introduce yourself, please?
Oh, praise the Lord, our viewers. I'm Mrs. Josephine Casato, a Christian and Anglican by faith, and a president of Mothers Union in the Anglican Diocese of Damirembe, a leader, a mother, and of course a married woman to a man.
Okay, now that's important.
Mr. Daniel Casato.
Mr. Daniel Casato is watching
And the Lord has
us.
blessed us with 4 children and many, many spiritual children. That's what I can say.
That is so beautiful. So you are the president of Mothers Union, Namirembe Diocese.
Yes.
That is a lot of responsibility, because that's a lot of women. What does Mothers Union do for many people that are watching us and don't have a clue? What is
First of all, Mothers Union is a Christian fellowship worldwide,
Okay.
which is in charge of caring, nurturing, and upbringing young people and married women together biblically, spiritually, physically, and economically among our 5 objectives.
Okay.
So Mothers Union, the Worldwide Fellowship,
Yes.
makes sure that all the married women are safe.
All the married
young
women
people
are safe.
Even
Okay.
the married men.
Okay. I was
Also,
going to say, so what about us?
and even the young people in the community. Because among our 5 objectives,
Yeah.
first of all, we are centered on Christ,
Okay.
the biblical teaching,
That's good.
then thirdly, the community awareness, and all that fellowship among women and
Yes.
other people in the community. So that's why when it comes to Mothers Union,
Yeah.
we are engaged everywhere. When it comes in among the children, when it comes to church, and when it comes to community. That's why you've been seeing in community in COVID, Mothers Union has been on front line.
You're multi-purpose.
Yeah.
That is so beautiful, and that's what a mother should be. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
That's what a mother does. She will be cooking here, she'll be doing this, she'll be doing the other, she'll be doing this. So, being the president of the Mothers Union,
Yeah.
how does Mr. Daniel see it? How does he look at you? I mean, you're the president of Mothers Union. Some men will be thinking, who does she think she is?
Yeah.
She thinks she's president, and who am I now? How does Mr. Daniel look at you?
And if a man could think like that, or if he would ever thought like that, that is already violence.
I love this.
Mr. Kasato Daniel looks at me, one, as his wife.
That's good.
Because we've been married, this is our 27th year in holy matrimony.
27.
Yeah, so we've been married, and this is my 7th year as a Mothers Union president. 27 minus 7, we've been together all that time.
Oh,
so
wow.
when he looks at me as his dear wife,
As his dear wife.
the mother to his children,
That's so-
and of course the Mothers Union president. So how
He honors you.
yes,
That's
it
so
looks
beautiful.
funny, but I also try to know who I am,
Yes.
because I'm the one who leads in this.
Yes.
I have to know that I'm a wife to Mr. Casado. I'm a mother to our children. And then I'm a president. So if it needs me to be a president, I'll be a president. If it needs me to be a wife and kneel down and greet him and serve him breakfast, I'll do it, because he didn't marry a president. He married a wife.
Oh, wow. I
You
love
get that?
He did not marry a president.
No.
He married a wife.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
And that is where the challenges come from.
Yes.
Some men forget what they married. And some women forget what they are. You can be an MP, very good.
Yes.
And I'm proud of all the women MPs for your information.
Yes.
But there is a difference between being a honorable MP and Mrs. Somebody. How I wish
Mrs.
when you come back, immediately when you enter the gate, become Mrs. Somebody.
You see now the challenges.
Do what you're supposed to do as Mrs. Somebody. Don't say, because I'm an MP, because of the
So I
Mothers Union
don't come in
president.
and legislate in the house.
No, it is
Point
not
of
about
order.
legislating there.
Point of order.
No point of order. That was with the speaker in the parliament. Here it is point of darling, point
Okay.
of care, point of how was your day, point of I love you, you know I missed you, what are we going to do with our children, when are we building, when are we going to our farm? That is here at home. When
Now-
you go back, you set a point of order and
Now-
the other things.
Now, Mrs. Casato, this is so interesting. You're saying that, okay, when you go back home, then you have to be the missus.
Yeah.
Okay? And then you bring in the point of darling, point of I love you, and all that kind of stuff. Now, we have a challenge whereby this whole thing, because now we need to bring in the domestic violence and how it all starts. You mentioned something very powerful. You say that literally, when I begin questioning, what kind of president you are, who do you think you are, that's actually where domestic violence begins from.
That's the genesis.
That's the genesis. Now, you're saying that's the genesis. How would you define domestic violence to our viewers?
Oh my God. Domestic violence is so wide.
Yes.
But how I can define it to our viewers is
As Mrs.
the
Casato.
pain. How can I demonstrate this pain? That may be pondered deep in your heart by anybody near you, in particular your partner. That pain, it may be verbal, it may be physical, it may be sexual, it may be emotional, but all,
Afflicted.
yes, all that, it may be social,
Yeah.
but all that pain that is being brought
Yes.
is violence.
Is violence.
Both men and women.
And women.
Because we are talking about us as leaders,
Yes.
women leaders in high positions.
Yes.
If you start undermining your husband because of the position, you ask, don't you know you are speaking to the mother-in-law president? Don't you know you are speaking to the Honorable Lord Councillor or the MP, you know? Or to the Reverend, because we even have female clergy at high standards who are canons.
You even have the justices.
The lady justices,
The
you know.
lady justices.
So that emotional violence, the verbal part of it, you are starting to abuse. You know, you men,
Go ahead.
you want to practice your masculinity. So you say, hey, so now you mean you are the president? Is this where we were elected? Don't you know that they elected you because of me? And things like that. You will start from there. Don't you know that my money helps here at home? Don't you know? When you start the don't you knows, the violence is coming in. And for your information, we've been looking at violence hitting at high levels in COVID.
Yeah.
But violence has been there even before COVID.
Okay.
I can say COVID was a timing bomb, whereby people met for a big time and they said, you Cyrus, ever since you dodged, I have you here. A, B, C, D. Why did you do this? How did you use this phone? What have you been doing? How do you spend your money?
Anymore.
You can't. And because men are good at fighting, you start with a fight.
But you know,
and for us, we are good at verbal. We start saying, look at this, Chisajachi. Yeah, if those Chisajachi come in, the next step will be the children coming in, the fights, the running out of home, the breaking of the cups and everything in a home. But why?
But let me bring this. You say the moment that do you know who I am? This, in other words, we believe there's a form of ignorance.
Yeah. And
now I want to show you who I am.
I don't think there is a form of ignorance. Can I say it's a form of pretense?
Form of pretense?
Yes, because Cyrus, you got married.
Yes.
To somebody. I don't want to put any name there. X there.
Yes.
You got married to X.
She's called Robbie.
She's called Robbie.
Yes.
Will she be comfortable when we talk about
absolutely,
her?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Loving my daughter, sorry.
Don't worry, absolutely.
So you got married to Robbie?
Yes.
Without even working on TV?
Absolutely.
Maybe when you were not a pastor. But by the grace of the Lord.
Yes.
You came from glory to glory.
Absolutely.
With her.
Yes.
From one pair of shoes to like 10.
2 shirts.
To selecting shoots, you know. Now, how can you say at this particular time you are a different person to Robbie? You will never be. So, can we practice that? Safe spaces in our homes.
But you know, I think what causes me to think I've become somebody after starting out very poor and she endured with me, what causes me to think I've become somebody is because I actually never knew who I was at the beginning.
You knew? How come
I never knew, because take a look at this. Why would I change? Why would money cause me to change? I tell people money doesn't cause us to change.
I want to verify this. You knew, because if you're a Christian, or you believe in God, you just know that God is changing us from horizons to horizons. And it is because of this crowd. You remember even in the Bible, remember the same crowd that was saying Hosanna. It's the same crowd that said Komerera. So it is this crowd. When you put on like this, maybe she forgets say you are smart. Then at the office somebody says, oh, Silas, you are smart. You say, oh my God, now, you know, how come she didn't say I'm smart? Maybe she forgot. Maybe she was busy. Let me tell you, those are the few tiny little things that brought about the violence in the homes.
Yes.
Something like sugar. Can you imagine sugar? How comes sugar is finished? How comes you spend it like this?
Yeah.
But you know how we use sugar. And both of us can buy sugar. Can you look at a scenario in a home where a woman is working in a very good office, earning a good salary, but can't even buy salt? And they serve the sauce without salt.
What would you think? I would look at that whereby a woman is not buying salt. It's all about the woman and her identity. You see, you women, if a man is not able to love you good. Because you are going to turn around and begin protecting yourself and trying to save yourself and trying to bring you build everything back. When a woman is not sensing that she's being loved, she goes into protective mode.
Yeah.
And when she goes into a protective mode, it's like, I gotta protect my kids, I gotta protect myself. So this money becomes she money. So because in case this man changes, I will be safe. Now that is one of the causes where most women are not willing to spend the money, because they're not trusting the man, that if I trust this man, I might spend the money and I have nowhere to go. But for now, I am able to protect my money, have my she money. In case the man goes haywire, I am able to protect my family, my babies, and I'm able to protect this. Now that's a cause. That's also violence.
Before I tell men to be trustworthy, I want to challenge my dear sisters, my daughters, my judges and my singers, the women.
Yes.
Who is the mother of these children?
Yes.
It is you.
Yes.
Who is going to eat the sauce without salt? It is you. The so-called Silas, you are teaching a lesson, or whom you think is no longer loving you, is somewhere seated, maybe even eating with kachumbari on the plate, you get? And you are here, you know? I always tell women, you know?
Yes.
Just buy the salt, you know?
In other words, irrespective of my behavior.
Yes.
My behavior or my actions should never determine your behavior.
No. These are our children. And you are my husband, for your information.
Yes.
I have to put the food on the table and tell you, you know my husband? We almost ran out of salt. But I tried my level best. Please don't forget. Tomorrow, we need the salt.
And you know
in a humble and polite way.
And then what do? I'll tell you, look over here. You need salt tomorrow? Get it from where you got it today.
Then if you are at that level of reasoning and understanding, I don't need to pick a fight with you. I just run quickly to God who created you, because I can't manage you. It is God who created you. Why do I waste my time? I just kneel down and pray for you. He said, Lord, my Father, this is the husband you gave me. At this juncture, this is what he's doing. How I can tell these women to stop picking fights with these men. Talk to him. Don't keep it in your heart, because when you keep in your heart, it's also emotional violence. At a certain point, you'll break up. And you may break up when he's upset, and you end up in a wheelchair.
In other words, silent treatment is emotional violence.
Yeah.
Silent treatment. And you women know how to shut up. You just, the moment you get disturbed, you go.
Please, don't keep quiet. Talk to him. After talking to him.
But he doesn't want to talk to me.
It's okay.
That's the thing, that I don't know how to keep quiet. I also know how to keep quiet.
Yes, when you keep quiet, and the pain remains there.
Yes.
I can advise all the couples viewing me here.
Yes.
Yes, talk to him, but in a polite way. You know, our ethics of communication are also bad. Look at you. You failed even to buy salt, and you call yourself a man. Look at you. You are not well dressed, and you call yourself a woman. You don't even have makeup. Then he reminds you, when did you last buy lipstick? And you even don't know the shop where they buy the lipsticks. So you say, you are picking up a fight. But please, can you communicate well, my dear?
Okay.
I want you to have makeup. Although I don't have money. But remember when I used to have money? I used to buy the makeup. But now I don't have money. But if you can afford, I really love to look at you when you're more presentable than you are.
But you see, most of the men don't see it that way. The moment he says, you don't even have makeup, you don't even do this, by the time a man keeps looking down on a woman, they've already lost treasuring them.
And because we are in a country that says, for God and my country, let's not forget this motto.
That's true.
This motto is not a joke, you people.
Yes.
And you got married to this person. You said you love. You even made vows in the church. Why did you lie to all that congregation? Just remember, things may have went wrong somewhere. I agree with you. But we need to forgive.
I love the question. Why did you lie to the entire congregation?
And even to God.
Now those of you that are watching, there's a question. Why did you lie to God and to the entire congregation? Why did you tell a lie?
Because you said you love me.
You said you
for
love
better, for worse.
For better, for worse.
In richness and poor.
In sickness and in health.
Now, as per now, I just have a small, slight sickness.
So there is no integrity.
You know what happened even in COVID? Some women or men were expecting their fellow spouses to have contacted with COVID. And said, no, today don't touch me. I said the COVID here.
Oh my God. Now
they tested even when they are not doctors.
I think that is a way.
So we've been seeing even sexual violence within this COVID season.
There's the emotional violence
Yes.
that comes in with silent treatment.
Uh-huh.
That comes in whereby, because silent treatment, you sulk and tondo. You know, you don't want to talk, you want to walk away. That's emotional violence. It's not just the betting. And then there's that moment you don't want to talk to your spouse, but then you mention something. I know we're about to take a break, but before we go for a break, you mentioned something very important.
Yeah.
Because when you mentioned about the people telling a lie, you told this woman, I will love you
Yeah.
in sickness and in health,
Yes.
until death do us
And everybody
part.
clapped. I don't cry. I don't clap, by the way, in church, because nowadays I've seen what is happening in real life. So when people do their voice, I just look at them like this and wait for what to come after the wedding.
This is so dangerous. What? I mean, we clap our hands, we say for better, for
Mukuba
worse,
n'obululu. Nga bwe mukubira obululu, they are on serious lies.
on lies, and this is happening even among church people,
And
especially
mostly-
church people. Yeah, because actually the rest don't.
They say I've never gone to church.
Yes, but
I've never gone to a mosque.
you church people, you people that go to worship houses, you're the ones
Who pretend to know the Lord, as
who
Paul,
pretend
St. Paul
to know the
said
Lord.
that.
You're the ones walking away from your marriages, and that is actually divorce is domestic violence.
Yes. And God hates divorce.
He hates divorce,
And he even talked about it in the Holy Bible.
and that's domestic violence.
Of course it is.
And yet we go ahead and we clap our hands.
Oh, and even say hallelujah, unnecessary hallelujahs.
Now you've had it. We're taking a break. I'm still with Mrs. Casato, and we're dealing with domestic violence. We're breaking it, and we're bringing it to you. So you may choose whether you're walking in domestic violence or you're walking in domestic happiness. We'll see you in a little bit.
Unlocking marital bliss. Unlocking marital bliss.
It's a pleasure once again. You're still tuned in to Unlocking Marital Bliss with me, Cyrus Rod. And we're talking about domestic violence within this season of the COVID-19. And we looked at the social, we looked at the emotional violence, especially silent treatment. You don't want to talk to your spouse, you're sulking, and especially guys out there, honestly, you sulk. Mutabani wakole ki? Honestly, you're sulking because you didn't have sex on the night, and you're sulking. You won't talk to anybody. That is childish when you throw a tantrum. But we're gonna break this down. We're gonna go deep into the domestic violence that is ongoing and how to overcome it with my guest, Mrs. Casato. Before we took the break, there was something very, very important that we were ministering to the people. And what we talked about the silent treatment, which is a form of emotional violence. And because it's all about exerting pain to another or bringing pain to another. So when you bring the silent treatment, we've pushed it where we're telling people, learn to talk to one another, not because you feel it, but because you have to and you ought to. You don't wait for your emotions to get into play before you can talk to one another. You control your emotions and then you choose to talk to one another. That's how you overcome it. Now, there is the economic violence that is taking place. There is you women talking about the she money and the men talking about their money. This is what you say. whatever the man brings in is our money. You get me?
I do.
Whatever the man brings in is our money, and whatever I bring in is my money as a woman. It's my she money. That is common. It's everywhere. And during this period, to even touch your she money literally means that if I'm the man, I'm not even going to eat the gizzards. Yes, because the she money bought the chicken. So here culturally, the man eats the gizzard.
Who eats the gizzard on that day? I like that.
And now it's you eating the gizzard. But I mean, because you both. Literally, you're pounding us heavily. This economic violence is getting out of hand.
You know where the problem comes from? How did we start this as husband and wife?
Yes.
Because you remember, we started in church.
Yes.
Giving you what I own, and you giving me what you own.
Yes.
We came back at home. The challenge is some of the women are not empowered enough by their husbands. Some of the men are not willing to give women capital. They are not willing to support them. Sure. These women borrow money to the extent of even giving all the things in the home without even the knowledge of the husband to get capital. How can we reach that level? And why do we reach that level? So the challenge is, first of all, our genesis in work should be looked at. Did you provide the capital? It may not be money.
Just a second. Men must believe that women must work, and women working is not evil.
It is, and it will never be. God does not deal with idlers, whether men or women. God deals with busy people. Look at his disciples. They were all got from work. Nobody was got from bed.
Yes.
When you look at all the biblical women, the favored women in the Bible, they are all on duty. Nobody was sleeping somewhere. I want to engage women. Please, you have to work. Now I was coming to a point.
Okay.
Men are supposed to support their wives.
That's true.
In giving them capital. There is a challenge there that brings about the economic violence. Some men don't support, and they want to get the milk from the cow that they didn't feed. That is also a challenge. The woman starts with her poultry at home. The birds start laying eggs. Then the man complains, how come they don't even eat the egg here?
Without knowing where the eggs come from.
You talked about the gizzard.
Yes.
In COVID, I intervened the family where there was a challenge because of the fish. The man was demanding, how comes I was not given the head? And I'm the head of the family. Why do you want to become the head of the family when it is time for the gizzard and the head of the fish? When it comes to going to market, when it comes to school fees, when it comes to rent, you are either sick, you are either absent, you are either somewhere.
You're the tail of the fish.
Hey, now you are the tail of the fish. So please, let's be realistic.
You're right, you're right.
That brings up women who are economically so independent and can't bend anywhere to men. Because whenever they need their support, the men are absent.
And by the way, there's this part where men borrow money from you. And they never pay back. I mean, why is it that men are not paying back? You women, what's wrong with women? You usually lend these guys money and they never pay it back. Dude, learn that when you borrow, you're a slave to a lender. So you better pay back the money. That's economic violence.
Yes.
Men who borrow and never pay
Instead
back.
of paying back the money, it is getting married somewhere.
Can you imagine?
Cohabiting somewhere.
I get the money from you, and then I take it and give it to a campus girl.
Yeah.
And I begin feeding the campus girl. And then when you ask for the money...
When I even happen to know, when I catch you red-handed, we go back to the physical violence, you beat.
I begin beating.
But on the other hand...
From economic violence, now we are
going to
physical.
That's why I said it is a circular thing.
It all goes around the
Yes.
same circle.
But I want to look at the women also. There are some women who have been empowered by their husbands.
Yes.
They are given capital. They are supported annually they are supported.
Yes.
You know, madam, I have got this. Can we add in something? Can you think of we are selling shirts only. Can we put in even the suits?
Yes.
You know, things like that. And these women are not also faithful enough to care for the family. For example, some men were on zero in COVID,
Yes.
but they had supported their women. And their women had some money. But these women also refused to buy even food.
I'll tell you something. Do you know why most of these women refuse to help?
Just tell me, because I really want to know the story
Because
behind that.
You see, women tend to say, I love you. Do you get it? And this is something many people never understand. But we tend to say, I love you. And when men talk about, I love you, to most of them, they think it's about going to bed. To them, I love you is from the mouth to bed. That's how far it goes. Now, most women feel unloved and left out. The man ignores them. They buy everything. For example, if I give you capital to start a business and do everything, then I stop taking care of you. I stop buying your lipstick, your makeup. I stop minding about your hair. I stop all of that. And then at that point, you feel isolated, abandoned, irrespective of how much money you have. And then we don't have a working relationship. We are not communicating well. And with the absence of communication, I stay alone.
That's where I was going.
And then you stay alone. Now trouble comes, the pandemic. Then you don't have anything. That's the only time you want to talk to me. You get me?
I do. And I had already waited in a corner.
That's the time, and that's the moment I say, okay, we shall see. Now this is
The Baganda say, "Omukadde akwasiza ku mmere ye."
Exactly.
But you know what you have to do, Silas? Yes, you are not buying the lipstick because you availed the capital. You may not even be buying some stuff at home. But can we communicate?
Can we
Don't break the communication.
You see, when I buy your lipstick, I'm communicating. And this is what most men never get. When I buy your jewelry, I'm communicating. I'm getting into your life. I'm reaching out to you. Most men think, you need money? 100 million. Now don't disturb me. Woman, what do you want from me? I gave you money. I gave you a car. I gave you a house. Now what do you want from me?
You yourself.
Thank you. I fear to give me. I can give you all the wealth, but I can't give me. I didn't understand what I was saying.
So I think the clergy are watching us. I think when we reach this part in premarital counseling, we need to emphasize it.
Yes.
Because, you know, it's not all about money. It is all about love.
Love.
And biblically, love is kind. You remember?
It's care.
It is care.
And you know what?
It is submission.
Yes.
You know?
It's sacrifice.
It is sacrifice. However much you've given me the money, can we communicate? You know, darling? You have the money.
But
you can buy the lipstick.
That's when I don't want to communicate.
Please, you need to communicate, because the failure of communication, it is leading to serious violence in the home. For better, for worse, you need to do what? To communicate.
Because actually when communication dies, violence begins.
Remember in the Bible, when Jesus was walking,
Yes.
and people were, you know the crowd. When I talk about the crowd, I can spend like 3 days. The crowd was shouting.
Yes.
Then people said, but please, Jesus,
Yes.
these people are shouting too much. Can you please tell them to stop shouting? And then said, if these ones stop,
Then
the
the stones.
So if you stop where you are not supposed to stop, doing something, saying something, showing something,
Violence.
this time it will not be the biblical stones, but will be violence, not even among you and your husband, but even among the children.
In other words, we men have actually quit praising our women.
And even the women also need to praise their men.
And
It is a two-way.
I love this.
It is a two-way.
You see the best? This is the best part of it. The reason it's easier to praise Jesus is because he valued you first. And we husbands are supposed to love you like Christ loved the church. When I value you first, I will begin to treasure you. In the end, you will definitely praise me back. But most men, how many women out there will say their men praise them?
There may be a few.
Thank you. If you were to give it a percentage out of 100,
Like 45.
Oh, that's too high. That's too high.
Why do you say too high?
I'm telling you.
It is 20?
10.
10?
10.
In Uganda?
Here in Uganda.
With the motto for God and my country?
10%
Oh,
of
Jesus.
the men praise their women. Do you know why they say, if I praise her, she's going to develop wings? She's going to think she's too much. Men are cowards. They're scared to praise you.
And they need to be praised.
But you see, if they need to be praised, they need to give the praise so that the praise comes in.
Yes.
But then they're cowards. We think you're going to develop wings.
That's why we've seen violence even in homes where there is food within the COVID season.
Yes.
In homes where cars, somebody moves out with a Benz and another one moves out with a Hammer, things like that. But there's a lot of violence. This praise, this communication, this bondage is not there.
The bond is not there. There is no praise. The way we are going to bond is I begin to praise you. When I begin to praise you, I will stop criticizing you. I will stop finding fault with you. When I stop finding fault with you and criticizing you, we begin connecting.
Yes.
You feel secure with me.
Yes.
Now, when you feel secure with me because I'm praising you, the next thing is you're going to feel like you want to hold me as the king in the home.
Of course.
As the king in the home. And then it will be happiness and there will be no violence. But with all this happening, because I can't praise you, you shut
You
up.
all see the foul things only.
You only find fault. Then the next thing is going to be sexual violence.
Yeah.
Because I'm not praising you, we're not communicating. Now the sexual violence is in fact, it's too big. During this pandemic, there are many girls getting pregnant.
Yeah.
They've been in school. Recently I heard is it in some district in the east, whereby most of the girls are reporting pregnancy. And these are underage girls reporting pregnancy. And there's a new law now, the Ministry of Education is planning to come up with a direction or guidelines that if a girl gets pregnant, this is also sexual violence.
Yeah.
If a girl gets pregnant and she's still in school, then the best thing to do is to take her, keep her in school until she's 6 months pregnant. Keep her in school until she's 6 months pregnant. What do you think?
Before even we reach there, let's look at the homes where these girls come from.
Okay.
Because of the points you've just risen, there is a lot of sexual violence among the parents themselves.
Yes.
And even giving out these young people to have sex with neighbors or rich people in the community to earn food for this family because of the other sorts of violence we've been talking about.
That's true.
The home is not a safe space.
Yes.
It has a lot of extended families.
Yes.
In some small homes whereby daddy and mommy are having sex and even uncle is feeling like having sex with this young girl. So we have a lot of problems. First of all, can we create a safe space in our homes for these our children?
Thank you.
Are they safe when they are seeing you daddy?
Yes.
Are you still daddy in the presence of this girl who is almost resembling her mother at the age when you first met her?
Is she safe?
Is she safe
That's
when
a
mommy
very
is not at
powerful
home?
question.
Even the young boys. We just
Yes.
give the glory that men don't get pregnant. But there are so many young boys who have been
That are being
violated
abused.
sexually within this COVID season. And even
Yes.
before COVID.
Yes.
So, first of all, before you look at these ones in school, home should be a safe space.
That's good.
We should talk about sex at home.
Yes.
With our children.
Yes.
Irrespective of their ages.
Yes.
Just think of how you can communicate with these people. Some
Yes.
are raped because they don't know.
That's very
There are so
true.
many scenarios where these girls happen to get pregnant and even infected with HIV because they didn't know what they were going through.
That's
Nobody
true.
has ever communicated.
Yes.
Can parents communicate
That's good.
with these their young children?
Yes.
Then when we go to this way in school, I like the government so much.
Yes.
And I really want to praise the Ministry of Education for this.
Yes.
Mind you, most of these young people who are pregnant
Yes.
are pregnant because of incest. The responsible people are relatives. I was handling a scenario last year where the father himself raped the young girl in P7. The girl fell pregnant and HIV positive. Just look at that girl being sent out of class. Because I saw somebody on TV saying, now this will be giving a bad reputation among the other students. Did she love this?
But Mrs. Casato, let me interject.
Interject, please.
This girl, that is so evil. out there.
And there's so many evil things out there.
Yes, and for a man to rape your own daughter, and other men sleeping with these young girls, and they get pregnant while they're still in school. But you see, the solution of keeping these girls in school, let me tell you the challenges. This is a girl getting pregnant.
Yes.
She's probably 14 or 15, and she's gotten pregnant. Raped or whatever, or she slept with a boy out there. And the same boy is in the same class, okay? We need to look at this carefully. The same boy is in the same class. And this girl slept with this boy. Then the morning sickness starts. You get me?
Yes, I do.
You know, these early months are more disastrous.
The teacher comes in, because this teacher is a father or a mother. Can we be realistic? Just show care.
How are you
sorry?
Okay, no. Is sorry gonna be enough for a girl having morning sickness?
Not enough, but seek medical attention. But she has to be in class.
No,
Why does she leave class?
The best part
Those
is
are
this.
two punishments: leaving class and being pregnant.
They're not punishments.
They're what?
They're not punishments, Mrs. Casato. Let's look at it this way.
Okay, you'll bring it.
Look at it this way. They're not punishments. This is how it is. This is a young girl who's gotten pregnant. Number one, the scenario.
Let me give you this scenario also as you build up this.
Yeah.
There's another young girl was raped by the dad,
Yeah.
was a big brother,
Yeah.
and even the uncle, the brother to the mother. She fell pregnant, not knowing who is the owner of this pregnancy. Let's talk about that one in class now.
Okay, let me ask you. That girl is not sure who is the owner of this baby.
Yes. She's in P6.
P6.
Now you are saying she's left the class because of morning sicknesses. She's going to commit suicide.
Let me ask you a question.
Hey.
What have you done for these 3 men that raped her?
The 3 men that raped her were imprisoned.
Where what?
Were imprisoned.
Now, let me tell you. Until the laws in Uganda can work and deal with the men. Look, the Minister of Education says, here we are. Every girl that gets pregnant, stay in class. I'm telling you, the morning sickness affects women differently. If you pass it as a law, you're going to see people throwing up in class. You're going to see people disturbed when the heat increases with all these people. Heat increases in class, they get so heated up, they want to walk out. You cannot maintain this. It's a good law. I mean, it looks like a good law, but it's not sustainable. I want to see men. Once you impregnate a girl child, 20 years in prison. 20 years in prison. Because most of the times we want to deal with a woman, but we're not dealing with a man.
The stigma in the community, you are talking about families or areas that are a little bit empowered. But when you go deep down in the villages, there is a lot of stigma. One, on this young girl, as you are assessing her out of that school. Then in the community, these community people don't want to report to the men.
This is what I believe. But get this young girl, let her go through her pregnancy period. Very safe, and ensure she gets back to class. That is all. But to keep her in, and then she doesn't complete, and then she goes out. For the 6 months she's in class. The first 3-4 months is morning sickness.
This morning sickness may be there or may not be there. But you are looking at this young girl who is losing a full year because she was raped by 3 people. Can we bear with her?
Okay, this is how we bear with her. Brenda, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Please go and be at home.
Why?
You know what? Raise this baby.
I can raise this baby as I'm
That is one.
here.
And now that's the rape case. And the other case is the boy, Tony in class, who slept with Sarah. And they sit on the same desk. They share the class. And then you tell Sarah, keep coming to class. Do you know how many children? I've been bullied. I've been teased. Do you know teasing in school?
It depends
How are you
on
going?
which school.
No.
depends
It's
on
all
the
over.
teachers.
Let me
tell you, Silas, if we are to deal with this issue, it is wide. I said we deal with the parents, we deal with the teachers, we even deal with the children. That's why people are no longer disclosing about HIV/AIDS, because they fear the stigma. We have to run off this stigma in every sort of community.
This is what happens. How do you deal with something whereby this boy and the girl, okay?
The boy
they
is in
slept
school.
they slept together because this was my girlfriend, okay? And then we slept together. It was fun. You get me? My mother doesn't know it. My parents don't know it. And guess what? They call the parents and they say, well, this is the boy who impregnated your daughter, but we're keeping your daughter in class so that you keep taking care of her so that she may stay in school. It is irrational, because look at this. You're telling them that we are going to reward you for misbehavior. Because if ill behavior is not punished, then those who do good will see no reason of doing good. Then I, who is being able to, you know, the early days, I remember when AIDS had started, and this is one thing that was happening in Uganda that boosted us. It was all about abstinence. We teach abstinence, and then we tell the ones who have sex, we will keep you in class. Then we are literally shooting ourselves in the foot.
But first look at this, Silas. You are teaching about abstinence, but we are having children in class who were born with HIV. They've never had sex. They've never kissed anybody. They've never been cut anywhere. Can we be realistic, you people?
Yes, they were born with HIV. So what do we do?
So these people should be in class. What we should teach the whole class is this when it comes to those who are pregnant.
Yes.
Sex before marriage is bad.
Thank you.
You get? You tell this young boy what you did. Yes, you said you have fun. You had fun. You had fun, but out of fun, this is what happened. First of all, you committed a sin before God. You may be very happy in class. You may even be clever, but in front of God, you committed a sin. You need to repent.
But remember, let me show you this.
You show me, as I
You
show you
see,
also.
you see, it's like here in Uganda. Rape is sin, is a crime, capital punishment actually. So after I rape somebody, somebody commits rape, and then I walk out. How do I avoid a stigma? Because today, look, the one who has been raped is equally stigmatized. And me who has been convicted of rape, how do I get back in community?
Then you have to think about that.
No, I'm taking you somewhere. How do I get back to the community? I will still be stigmatized, because stigma will happen to anybody who breaks the rules. Stigma will fall on anyone who breaks the rules.
But
we cannot
we are
avoid
seeing
it.
stigma here on somebody who didn't break the rules.
Then what do we do?
This is what we are going to do, Silas. Let's start from our homes.
I love what you say.
My
Let's
dear
build
sons,
the homes.
You the fathers, you
Yes.
sit with these young boys.
Yes.
You tell them, sex is good.
Yeah.
When done,
In
at
the
the
right
right
environment,
time,
at the right time.
with the right person,
Yes.
in the right place.
Yes.
Then you ask them, what is the right place? Is it the garden?
No.
What is the right time? Is it when you are in senior 2 or P6?
No.
Then they will go to school knowing that. We are skipping all these
No, we have a challenge.
and moving to
We have
victims.
a challenge. That these young men can be taught. But then your young daughters are approached by men like we.
Yes.
We work in the
The
corporate
sugar
world.
judges. You are no longer
The
sugar
sh-
daddies, but you are
we're
sugar judges.
Now the sugar judges come in, and what do we need? We need the young girls. And then we give them money, and then what are you going to do? We are sugar judges.
We are going back.
The reality is this, Mrs. Casato. We need to make laws that can punish sugar judges heavily. Can punish.
Silas, in the Bible,
I do.
remember what St. Paul talked about the laws?
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes.
That the laws are there.
Yes.
But without the heart.
But you see, this is what happens.
So I'm looking at the heart.
With the government, you see, the government is not looking at the heart. The government looks at laws. So the government looks at laws. Now that the government looks at laws, this is what happens. The government looks at laws, not the heart, because the government is not religious. The government is in to enact laws.
Now let's do like
And
this.
it makes laws for lawbreakers.
Silas, can we do this?
Yes.
Because we as a government,
Yes.
the parents, we've talked to the young boys.
Yes.
Can we talk to the young girls also?
We are doing that.
We alert them right from the shamba boys in our homes.
Thank you. Now that is...
From the parents to the sugar judges, right
Thank
from
you.
day one.
Thank you so
Then
much.
we go to school.
Now we are protecting our own children,
Yes.
which is very good. But that is not enough. That is family, that is heart. But now you have sugar daddies and guys out there that literally, look, we have girls today, sexual violence, girls today that have slept with men, and the men walk away, and the law is doing nothing. I'll give a very good example. You watch our honorable minister of gender and then deals with the youth affairs. Almost every other week, she's seated with a man. I want you to pay school fees. I want you to pay school fees. I mean, but you see, there are many that cannot approach her. We need laws from Parliament that are gonna arrest every fool that sleeps with a woman and does not take care of the babies. We need those laws. Do you agree with me?
I really agree with you.
Those
On a
laws are
certain
equally
level.
good for- you
But
see-
I want to ask you, ever
Yes.
since Uganda, I can't say how old is Uganda. You mean we don't have laws?
No,
We do have them.
Then let's apply them. We need the power to apply these laws. I mean, why should I, as a minister, talk to you today, talk to him tomorrow,
When the laws are there.
when the laws are there?
But me, I'm
This
still
is
protecting
violence.
these young people. I'm still protecting them. Why
And I
do I
want to
protect
protect
them? I know family is the greatest institution
Yes.
where things start.
Yes.
If we practice behavior change
Charity begins at home.
in the family,
Thank you.
we shall have these young men and women who will not go to sugar judges, who will not even go on streets,
Beautiful.
because we are starting with the family.
I love
This
what you're saying.
issue of maybe doing gym is good. Can we decrease the time for gym? Can we decrease the time for other activities and socialize with our children?
Thank
With
you
the
so
parents.
much. And you know, our time is running out.
Oh, dear.
You know, just when it's getting better and better. And this is what happens. But I believe this is not the last time I'm having you here.
Okay.
I'm going to have you back. But like you said, it's got to start in the family.
Yeah.
So when the family is full of bliss, the bliss will go down to the children and everybody will enjoy. And this bliss in the family must begin with we the men.
Yes.
Because we are the head of the homes.
But even if it
With-
doesn't start with you,
Yes.
women can penetrate. They have all the tactics of penetrating anyway.
To bring bliss in the family.
Yes.
So
Even
in other
our
words,
children can penetrate. Because some of them are so empowered at school. They can come out with something. Let's embrace this family and come out with something to help the community.
to help the community.
Yeah.
I love a woman. The woman loves me. There's
With your
bliss in the
children.
home,
With your finances.
even with our finances.
I
And it's
like
all
that.
bliss. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been Cyrus Road. I've been hosting Mrs. Casato, and I'll give you 10 seconds to look into this camera and please say a word to the people that want to see bliss in their families.
Oh, praise the Lord for this time. I want to tell you people, you've made mistakes in family. We've made mistakes. I've also made mistakes, but I believe in me not being a mistake. Yes, we've made mistakes, but we're not mistakes. Let's start from today and now and do something. You and your spouse, with your children, and even in the community. Thank you very much. God bless you.
That is so beautiful. You've heard her. That was Mrs. Casato, President of Mothers Union, Namirembe Diocese. And it's been a pleasure. Your one and only Cyrus Road. Remember, marriage is